welcome back. Over the past decade, exports from the Western Cape to the rest of Africa have grown at an average rate of 30%, and Africa is now the third largest regional market after Europe and Asia. But for many years, this market was ignored. Westgrow, the Western Cape's official trade and investment promotion agency, is busy trying to change this. Kathy Hearn has this report.
Michael Gamwo is the Africa Desk Manager at Westgrow. His job is to improve trade relations between the Western Cape and African countries. He says after years of focusing on trade with Europe and America, it's time to look closer to home.
There's a challenge of taking out in people's mind that Africa is a dangerous place to do business in. You're talking on the trade side and on the investment side. There's a lot of opportunities out there, but people have to have the right mind and mentality. The other challenge from our side is, the drive. You don't have enough drive from local businesses, to go there. They are very impatient. They need to be out there to go and explore the market and build partnership with people.
Currently, South Africa is the largest investor in the continent, with the rest of Africa accounting for just 9% of total South African trade. At the same time, exports from South Africa to other African countries are 3 times greater than their imports.
What we want is to grow, to encourage inward trade, because it's difficult to talk of NEPAD. It's difficult to talk of two-way trade when it's only going one way. So South Africa is also a very big market for most of African product. When you look at things, most of coffee and cocoa, for instance, from South Africa is purchased in Europe, whereas this can be purchased in Africa. I think there's just not the right platform, to get local business people to purchase, to source product from Africa. And I think this usually should be the duty of agencies like ours, the DTI and the government, to establish that kind of platform, because a business person just wants to know what is the easiest way for him to do his business.
That's why Westgrow launched its West African Trade Corridor at the beginning of 2005. The program aimed at facilitating Western Cape business penetration into West Africa, promoting intra-regional trade amongst the two regions, and fostering outward investment into the region. Westgrow held a series of seminars on accessing the African market and also initiated an ongoing networking forum. Oil-rich countries like Nigeria and Angola are the dominant trading partners, with forex generated by oil exploration activities creating a demand for goods and services.
This brings together more opportunities in terms of supplies of goods, supply of machinery, capital equipment, and engineering. And so there's so much opportunities that SADC cannot offer, but that you can get from other African countries. And that's really what we're doing at Westgrow with our Western African Trade Corridor, is to bring local companies to go out there in West Africa, to explore those opportunities by having joint ventures, partnership with local business people over there.
Ongoing trade missions, like the upcoming one to Nigeria in March, help to consolidate these relationships.
What we do is we advertise the mission on the papers, and companies who are interested to join us on that mission will contact us, and then we'll have the profile of the companies that are interested in going. So once we have the profile of each company, then we try to establish linkages with companies in Nigeria, because companies have to meet those businesses that are in the same sector of interest. So we first have to get the profile of the companies going, and then with our partners there, because we build a lot of partnership with Nigerian business organizations that are able to assist us in identifying local companies there in Nigeria, so that they can match easily with local South African companies. And the mission is usually over 5 years, and we plan to go to Lagos and also to Port Harcourt.
And a win-win situation is what's happening. Since the trade corridor was opened, over 300 Africa business people have been put in contact with Western Cape companies. This has resulted in several successful partnerships, and more are expected to follow. But Gamwo says there's still a long way to go. Challenges include trade barriers, a lack of transport and communication infrastructure, high import tariffs, language and cultural difficulties.
You see a country like Angola, most of the product comes from Portugal and Brazil because there's a big market due to the fact that the language, the labels on the product is in Portuguese. And this is where South Africa usually fall short, because we advise companies to try to label the product into at least 3 languages. Rather than you'll go in Angola on a shelf and see a product, a fruit juice, with English and Afrikaans. I mean, why not put it in English, French, and Portuguese? I don't think it costs much to do that for such a big market. I mean, in Nigeria, you're talking of over 100 million people. In Angola, the same. In West Africa, the same. And there's a lot of product going from South Africa into those countries. But I think we should sensibilize our exporters to be realistic, when they are looking into new market, to try to label their product.
And it's advice like this that's going to help consolidate stronger business ties between South Africa and the rest of the continent.